I don't want. Okay, I don't want us to have. I told you very very coolly.
The truck was actually coming from Ring Road. It missed a step. So as it was trying to gather itself, it fell.
What we are witnessing these days.
A very good evening and thank you for joining us on BeeTv Major News at 6, reaching you live from Benin City, the Edo State capital. I am Evelyn Izibili, and now to the news in details. The Oba of Benin, His Royal Majesty, has intervened in the crisis working market leadership, otherwise known as IEKI, in Benin. At the palace of the Benin monarch on Thursday, the revered Benin monarch Oba Ewaye II directed some of the market women who have been imposing themselves on the traders and claiming
Yanga market Ugbo Olia.
The Obazelo of Benin Kingdom Chief Osaro Ida stated that for those Iyeki whose positions were not under dispute, the Oba directed them to continue overseeing their respective markets peacefully and in accordance with palace directives. He added that arrangements will be made for them to return to the palace at a later date for the former transitional rights and confirmation as Iyeki.
Wana Glen Wild Tolling. Every idea. I do a move. No hacking wow, no hacking out. No, we are passing why. I do it. I will pass you. Wow. There you were, whatever I have very fair. Oh, but what we are going to see me, and go up Boligi. Where the Kuai, Baga Himpinawa, Baga Holigi, Baga Hunjanga.
Some market women who spoke with journalists expressed excitement over the Oba's decision, describing it as a welcome development that has knelt down in appreciation to the Oba of Benin for his wisdom and fatherly role in bringing peace and orderliness back to markets across Benin City. Best Orator reporting for BeeTv News.
Internal Revenue Service (EIRS), Honorable Otumba Oladele Bankole Balogun, alongside the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Dr. Paddy Iyamo, on Tuesday, September 29, 2025, resolved issues surrounding alleged excessive taxation of school proprietors in the state. In a strategic stakeholders meeting held at the EIRS corporate head office, the EIRS and education leadership engaged with the coalition of private school proprietors in Edo State, led by Dr. Lemmy Russell. Discussion centers on the coalition recurring concerns regarding tax assessments served on owners of private schools.
During the meeting, the coalition's leadership appealed for a blanket reduction of these tax liabilities for its members, citing the financial strain on the operations and income. In his response, the EIRS executive chairman maintained that tax assessment is an individual matter, emphasizing that reduction or reconciliations must be considered on a case-by-case basis, not applied collectively. Otumba Bankole Balogun stressed that assessments are merit-driven and anchored on the income of each taxpayer, while also assuring them of the state government support for the educational businesses.
At some point, we will look at individual cases. That's what I'm trying to say. We'll look at individual cases, and we must be 100% sure of, your turnovers, your incomes, and so on and so forth. And look at the assessments again. I'm just saying, we are responsible people. We work for the state.
58 of the Personal Income Tax Act provides that when the taxpayer is aggrieved with assessment, it should come up with is come up in writing, stating your grounds of objection.
On his part, the Honorable Commissioner for Education, Dr. Paddy Iyamo, commended the EIRS for the opportunity to dialogue, noting that such engagement foster better understanding and cooperation between government agency and education stakeholders. He admonished the coalition to encourage its members to use the platform provided by law to resolve tax disputes amicably and responsibly, while assuring the coalition of their government commitments to ensuring their businesses thrive. He emphasized that paying tax is a fundamental civic responsibility of all business owners.
This video, thank you, Honorable Chairman, for your time and for how you have piloted the meeting, explaining line item by line item. I think I've also learned one or two things from your presentation. And to the private school owners, I want to assure you that the government is committed in ensuring that your business thrives.
Other school proprietors and coalition's members appealed to the EIRS for more tax education and awareness, opportunities to guide their present and future tax engagement.
Let me also use the opportunity to appreciate our Honorable Commissioner who has brokered this meeting. Really appreciate.
The meeting concluded with a clear understanding that while blanket reductions were not feasible, individual proprietors could pursue reconciliation and raise
primary healthcare delivery and implementing a new measles rubella vaccination campaign. The delegation was led by Dr. Esiegbe Efeomo, Director of Disease Control and Immunization, who presented details of the upcoming initiative aimed at boosting child immunization coverage across the state.
During the meeting, Dr. Efeomo emphasized that primary healthcare He noted that the federal government has provided vaccine valued in millions of dollars, while the state government, under the leadership of Senator Monday Okpebulu, has completed the renovation of the state's drug store at a cost of several tens of millions of naira. The central focus of the visit was the introduction of a combined measles rubella vaccine for children aged 9 months to 14 years, set to commence in January next year. The new vaccine will provide dual protection against 2 early infectious diseases that can lead to complications such as blindness, deafness, and congenital malfunctions. He commended the Edo State government for its proactive steps in public health, stressing the importance of community engagement and advocacy through schools, religious institutions, and traditional rulers to ensure wide vaccine acceptance.
Vaccination is very important to protect our children from diseases. And for this particular catch-up campaign, we'll be covering children from 9 months to 14 years. So we know that we have to spread the advocacy, let the children and parents of the children in the schools be aware. So that's what our key ask is.
So when we have our ask a secret, that day will go viral. So that's what we're asking. Beyond what we are going to do, they can just put that political will and commitment from the LGs. And we are so happy to be here.
Healthcare remains a major pillar of the state's SHAN agenda, focusing on security, healthcare, infrastructure, national resources, food sufficiency, and education. He reaffirmed that the ministry will work closely with local councils to ensure logistics, security, and community sensitization are well coordinated for the success of the vaccination exercise.
Healthcare is also part of our responsibility to ensure that life funds for the South and in partnership with the states. I also want to thank our national officer from Abuja, in the states here. Yes. I appreciate your presence.
Thank you very much, sir.
And I want to also thank our executive secretary for the work he has also been doing here as a primary health care. Yes. For us as a ministry, we are very, very impressed.
The need for individuals to prioritize their mental health in order to be in the right state of mind has been emphasized by members of the public in Benin City in commemoration of the World Mental Health Day. BeeTv News' Freeman Osawe has more.
Mental health encompasses emotional, psychological, and social well-being, affecting how we think, feel, and handle life's challenges and relationships. It is crucial for overall health, productivity, and making meaningful contributions to our communities. While mental health is more than the absence of mental illness, it exists on a continuum that includes mental disorder, psychosocial disabilities, and other states of distress or impairment. Some members of the public in Benin City said mental health is sacrosanct to any individual because when you are mentally okay, which makes an individual to live in its right state of mind, urging people to look after their mental health and avoid anything that might jeopardize their mental stability.
So for Nigeria, it's not easy to be mentally stable in Nigeria. That means you need to be financially stable.
Ultimately failed for purposes such as construction, firewood, and land clearing, often without consideration for the long-term effects on nature and human health. The once green surroundings are slowly becoming bare as trees are being cut down without plans of replanting. Speaking with BeeTv News, some respondents expressed their displeasure over the ongoing practice, emphasizing the importance of trees to human survival and environmental protection. They noted that trees serve as natural sources of shade, providing relief from the scorching sun, especially in public places and residential areas, adding that trees act as natural barriers against disasters, protecting homes from strong winds that can cause damage, such as the removal of roofs and other structural harm during heavy storms.
The African Democratic Congress, ADC, has urged the newly nominated Electoral Commission Chairman, Joash Amopitan, to remain loyal to the Nigerian people rather than political interests. Similarly, the People Democratic Party, PDP, is calling on Mr. Amopitan to prioritize internal reforms and a thorough cleansing of the commission in order to rebuild public trust in the electoral process. On the other hand, the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, has expressed confidence in Mr. Amopitan's appointment, describing it as well-deserved and based on merit. The Lagos State government has unveiled a new initiative aimed at transforming healthcare delivery across the state with a strong commitment to increase investments in technology, innovation, and universal access to quality care. This was revealed at the maiden edition of the Eco Health Convention 2025.
Commitment to building an inclusive technology-driven health system that guarantees access for all residents' digital transformation. Represented by Deputy Governor Obafemi Hamzat, Governor Sanwo-Olu highlighted major projects including new general hospitals, maternal and child centers, and the State First Mental Health Institute as part
and resource allocation. Also, we must achieve universal health coverage. Mandatory social health insurance is our vehicle for doing that. So our task is to ensure that no one is left behind. We will expand subsidies for the poor, enforce enrollment through community.
For BeeTv News.
The Delta State Police Command has announced the arrest of 95 suspects over the past months, including 5 alleged kidnappers, 3 of whom were killed during a gun duel with security operatives. A kidnapped victim was also successfully rescued during the operations. The arrests come as part of intensified security efforts ahead of the end of year period, a time typically associated with a rise in criminal activity. The Delta State Commissioner of Police has urged residents to remain vigilant and to promptly report any suspicious persons or movement to the authorities to help maintain public safety.
Is yet another monthly media briefing by the Delta State Police Commissioner to update journalists on the command's efforts to tackle security challenges, particularly cases of kidnapping, armed robbery, drug abuse, and cultism. Alongside the recovered weapons, the Commissioner narrated how officers apprehended the suspect in different parts of the state.
Quite a series of kidnapping around the Agbawaxis in Ugele and the environment. Operative of CP Special Assignment Team in Ugele, in compliance with my directive on intelligence-led policing, extended our investigation to Rivers and Imo State because a lot of these people who operate here will normally they are cross-border. Pronouncement yet. So we appeal to our people to please calm down, let government do what government knows how to do. However, the individual that shot in the Odion Robo crisis is known and is being trailed. We have asked this woman who laid this allegation on social media to come forward so that we can interact with them, get the details, and go out. The only one we have, a child, 2 children that were said to have been kidnapped, were brought back from Port Harcourt during that same week. Now, if we allege that somebody wanted to steal a child and you have been having children stolen, why kill the person? Jungle justice is an ill wind that does nobody any good.
Seeking the continued cooperation of residents, the commissioner reaffirmed
and state security officials are currently deliberating on the federal government's initiative to tackle insecurity with a focus on the implementation of the Forest Guard program in 7 states as part of its first phase. The National Security Advisor emphasized that the success of the initiative will rely heavily on strong political will, adequate funding, and active collaboration from state governments. Federal and state security officials converged on the Office of the National Security Advisor to review the federal government efforts. The latest of such efforts is the Forest Guard program, under which 130,000 armed operatives are to be deployed across 1,129 forest and game reserves in the country.
The federal government has launched the Forest Guards Initiative. I think the Permanent Secretary alluded to that shortly ago, aimed at sanitizing our forest reserves, which became safe haven for criminal elements. As reiterated by Mr. President, we would flush the bad elements from our forest reserves. The threats of the separatists in the southeast and parts of south-south geopolitical zones.
The 7 states for the pilot phase of the program are Adamawa, Borno, Kebbi, Kwara, Niger, Sokoto, and Yobe.
I wish to reiterate that the success of the initiative depends largely on the strong political will.
Bold in boards, fearless in purpose, proudly marks 2 remarkable years of journalism that shapes the nation. On Saturday, October 18, 2025, at the iconic Victor Owaifo Creative Hub, Airport Road, Benin City, the nation gathers to reflect on a defining theme: Nigeria's future, bleak or bright, the role of the media. Leading this historic conversation, the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpelolo, and his deputy, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa. Mother of the Day, Mrs. Edesili Okpelolo Anani, Coordinator Office of the First Lady, Edo State. Father of the Day, Chief Dan Osi Obi, National Vice Chairman, South-South of the People's Democratic Party. Illuminating the team as guest speaker, scholar and statesman, Professor Eddie Eragbe, Professor of History and International Studies, Uniben. And in a moment of history, the BeeTv News Icon of the Year Award will be presented to His Excellency Senator Comrade Adams Aliu Eric Oshomole. And with vision for the future, BeeTv News unveils the BeeTv Foundation, a legacy of service, empowerment, and change, to be launched by Honorable Godwin Okodua, Managing Director Club Ray, and supported by Honorable Sylvester Igbobo, Deputy State Chairman APC, Chief Host Right Honorable Dr. Omoroge Ogbede Ihama, Executive Director Corporate Services, Niger Delta Power Holding Company Limited. BeeTv News 2nd anniversary, Saturday, October 18th, time 3 p.m. at the Victor Owaifo Creative Hub, Benin City. Signed, Ms. Best Orator, Managing Director, BeeTv News.
Welcome back from that short break, and now to the business news. The Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, the Security and Exchange Commission, and other governance stakeholders have advocated for strengthening ethical governance in Nigeria, especially at the board level amid increasing national and global disruptions. This was the focus of the 20th Anniversary Corporate Governance Conference of the Society for Corporate Governance Nigeria, SCGN, held under the theme Strengthening Ethical Governance in a Disrupted World, Reflection of Governance Journey for a Sustainable Future. Legend BeeTv News Temitope Oluwafemi for details and more from the business world.
The conference served as a platform for regulators, board leaders, and governance professionals to review progress made over the past 2 decades in promoting integrity, transparency, and responsible leadership. It also addressed emerging challenges undermining ethical governance in Nigeria. These include gaps in professional competence, environmental and data reporting, manipulation, digital corruption, and the growing influence of artificial intelligence and digital assets. In addition to the deliberations, 3 major publications were launched to commemorate the SCGN's 20-year milestone. These include Corporate Governance and Sustainability Reporting in Nigeria, Governance in Motion, 20 Years of Corporate Governance Influence and Impact, and the 28th edition of the Journal of Corporate Governance. Airtel Africa Foundation, through Airtel Nigeria, has launched its undergraduate tech scholarship program to support 100 Nigerian students pursuing degrees in information and communication technology-related disciplines. The program aims to 15% oversubscription in 20 billion naira Sukuk offer. TAJ Bank Limited has achieved a 185.15% oversubscription in its latest 20 billion naira Mudaraba Sukuk issuance, with total subscriptions reaching 57.3 billion naira. The bond, which offers a 20.5% annual profit rate, is the second tranche under the bank's 100 billion naira Sukuk program. The strong market response reflects growing investor confidence in TAJ Bank's non-interest banking model and its performance in the Islamic finance space. Despite prevailing macroeconomic challenges, the oversubscription also highlights a positive outlook for ethical finance products in Nigeria's capital markets. The successful bond insurance further strengthens the bank's position in the market and supports its objective of funding real sector projects through Sharia compliant financial instruments. Temitope Oluwafemi reporting for BeeTv News.
From the global scene, Sir Keir Starmer has praised the UK-Indian trade deal as a launch pad for closer ties after meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Mumbai. The two leaders met to discuss ways to expand business and trade links after they signed a landmark trade deal in July. Sir Keir's 2 days visit to India's financial capital involved the UK's largest ever trade delegation of more than 100 CEOs, entrepreneurs, university vice-chancellors and cultural leaders. BeeTv News' Zainab Mohammed has details.
Among the other issues discussed by the 2 prime ministers was the war in Ukraine, as India continues to buy Russian fossil fuels, helping to fund Vladimir Putin's war efforts. Sir Keir described the trade deal as huge for the UK and the most ambitious trade deal India has ever done. Speaking at a press conference, he said this trade deal is a launch pad to boost British leadership in everything from tech to life sciences to renewable energy and much more beyond that. The opportunity is clear. Just look at the sheer scale of India, the world's largest democracy on track to become the 3rd largest economy by 2028. In their meeting, the Prime Minister, the UK has a growing network of international campuses in India, with the University of York, University of Aberdeen, and the Queen's University, Belfast, among those expected to open campuses from as early as next year. On his first day, Sir Keir met the foundation of India's digital ID system, Nandan Nelikana, in the wake of plans to introduce a digital ID for people working in the UK. The government's plan to introduce compulsory digital ID for people to prove their right to work in the UK has seen more than 2.8 million people signing a petition against the idea. But Downing Street is determined to press on, claiming it will curb the ability of migrants to work illegally. The government says the yet-to-be-implemented UK-Indian trade deal has already led to €1 billion of investment and almost 7,000 jobs being created in the UK. Under the deal, the UK
Also, D4VD transferred property to mother amid ongoing homicide investigation. The reports. Darissa Pink transitioned into music video directing, a career move she described as one that granted her creative freedom, self-respect and professional control. Since then, she has built a reputable career working with leading Afrobeat artists in the Nigerian music scene. She has encouraged aspiring directors to remain patient and committed, stating that success in the industry requires years of hard work and resilience. Life coach and commentator Solomon Buchi has responded to public criticism surrounding a viral video in which a man highlighted the emotional and physical strain experienced by men while supporting their partners through pregnancy. The conversation began when content creator Maraji dismissed the notion that men's struggle during pregnancy should be acknowledged, stressing that the physical and emotional toll is primarily borne by women. In contrast, Bucci emphasized that while women experience the direct physical burden of